Now, this is going to be a very special video to me, so pay attention. We're going to go through a lot of details of my all-time favorite basketball shoe, and let's go straight into it. Hey guys, welcome back to Kicks Music channel, and today we're looking at the original 1994 Reebok Above the Rim Kamikaze 1. This is the very first signature shoe for Shawn Kemp, the Reignman, and when this shoe released back in 1994, I was absolutely blown away. I was a huge fan of the brand at the time, and ever since the beginning of the 90s, I've been following every single model, but the design to me peaked with the Kamikaze 1. Despite the fact that this was one of the most budget-friendly basketball shoes or signature basketball shoes because the price of the Kamikaze was under $100. And yes, technology-wise, they only had the Hexalite. They didn't have a pump, they didn't have graphite, but this was one of the greatest things about this shoe because it made it very affordable for a lot of people. And Reebok went out their way to produce a ton of different colorways, especially of the low top. Now the mid version had 5 or 6 different colorways that I personally know of and I personally have seen. But nothing beats that an absolute classic, the OG of the OG colorways, the black, white, and green. And a lot of people, and those of you that are fan of the model or maybe have the retro that released back in 2013, will be wondering what are the differences here. And some of the major differences, obviously, you're gonna see on the details, are the toe box. Where the toe box of the original one is all green, and the one on the newer or the retro was done in black, and then the green was done in the bottom. So I'm not sure why they were not able to make the same thing for the retro, but that's what they did. And the other thing, obviously, we have the original Hexalite here, where on the retro we don't have the original Hexalite. Is that dense Hexalite they have. The rest of it, the big part of this shoe is the shape. So the original one, you will see on the details, you see how graduate the slant of the toe box is, progressing all the way up to the top where the tone is. Now, if I hold this red and black one, you ask why I'm not holding the original colorways, honestly, I can't find it in the boxes around me. There's so many boxes, and I will spend days to try to find it, track it down. But this one is the one I have on display behind me, and you will see how, let me get closer to the camera, maybe it will pick it up right away. You will see how different the shape is in the toe box. Here's the retro. The toe box is kind of a bubbly. Again, not sure why they could not make that gradual progression here, but the whole toe box is just bulging up as a bubble. And you'll see the original one is just a nice gradual slant over. And the rest of it, as I can see, the shape is very similar. Now, yes, the heel here is a little bit more straight on the OG. Here's a little bit more forward, but this is not a big difference. Material wise, also not that big of a difference. You know, obviously the synthetic material on the white underlays of the OG is a little bit different, and it's very signature to what it looked like back in the day in a lot of different shoes that Reebok used. And padding is the other thing I have to mention. The padding of the original one is softer and thicker than the one we have on the retro. Same goes on the tone. The tone is probably twice the size of a puffiness, and also extends a lot higher. I think at least half an inch higher above the actual shoe compared to the retro. Now, comfort wise, I have to say it, of course, the original one is much more comfortable, not only because of the original Hexalite, but the insole here is a very nice thick insole. I've shown you before in many other videos. A lot of the models at the time had that insole. It's kind of an EVA plus polyurethane, has not cracked yet and crumbled, which is very interesting to me. And the bottom of it has the hexagonal shapes of Hexalite, also have an extra support for your arch. Very soft and comfortable insole, and this one is providing extra comfort for you. Overall, I'm extremely happy that after 30 years of searching this shoe, obviously I was not able to buy it when I was in my teenage years in high school when the shoe came out, and I always wanted to have it because this is indeed my favorite design. It looks so futuristic. It's one of those shoes that if you see on the street from a huge distance, as far as your eyes can see, half a mile, somebody walking down the street, you can definitely pick this shoe up and know that this is going to be the Kamikaze. It was one of those instantly recognizable silhouettes. Then when you see it, even back in the day on TV, which was not high definition, obviously, you watch NBA, you watch basketball, you recognize it on the screen when Sean Kemp was wearing this shoe. And yeah, I mean, it's incredible. Later on, when he rocked the low top for the All-Star game, and Reebok released a lot of colorways of the low top. There was white and black, black and white, white and blue, black and maroon. There was a tons of different colorways. All of them were amazing. And the only difference between those and the mid was the vector that was on the heel was placed down here towards the toe box on the same lateral side. One of the best things that I really liked back in the day was that minimal branding. Reebok at the time was really moving away from the giant like vector branding, and they were really letting their designs speak for the shoe and placing the vector somewhere in the upper in a much smaller version. That went with the Kamikaze, with the Kamikaze 2, with the Shock Gnosis, with the Shock Trainer, with the Shock 3 and 4. If you're familiar with all these models, you know that the vector was very little represented on the shoe, and the design of the shoe actually spoke. And this one, again, coming back to the design, just the way it looked to me back in the day when I saw it for the first time, it seemed like an alien grabbing on top of your foot, like the long fingers of an alien. This is how I pictured it as in my teenage mind. Yeah, seeing these pop on eBay, I had to grab them with absolute quickness as soon as I saw them, without even hesitating. Several years back, the black and red one with the box, with the tags and all that, popped on eBay, and I hesitated for a little bit and immediately got bought. So I'm still feeling very salty that I was not able to grab that colorway. But now that I have the original one, I'm super happy about it. Again, on feet, they look incredible, just like always, fully wearable. And one of the things that these are well preserved is probably the fact that they were worn. These are not complete DS pair, but sometimes wearing them actually saves them, because if you see a lot of these OG pairs, especially with the synthetic uppers, many times they will be cracked and peeling and letting the color off and all that stuff. But these were preserved well in good conditions, and also the fact that they were worn bonded the glue together with the midsole, so there's no sole separation anywhere. And yeah, this is again my all-time favorite basketball shoe. There's so many that I absolutely love. There's so many signatures. There's so many that I know of, but this one took my heart back in the day, and I wanted it so much, and I never had it. And that's why adding it to the collection is really special. Now, obviously, Sean Kemp's signature one that he rocked on court had his name right here on that top black portion lateral side. It was just saying Kemp right here. And the one that they released in the public did not have it, which later they corrected with the Kamikaze 2, placing his name right on top of the toe box. One of the saddest things is actually that when they retro it, you know, this is the retro, they did not put the Kemp name here. I wish they paid him the money for the royalties and all that stuff, and placed his name where it belongs. But regardless, the shoe shape, the shoe look, and the shoe legacy is what really matters. And these were some of the most prominent and incredible designs from the company at the time. You know, earlier to mid 90s was the peak of the brand, and I am just stoked that I can still find 30 years later shoes like that and add them to the collection. This is true gem that has the biggest part of the love in my heart when it started in the late 80s and early 90s. So yeah, that's incredible. Now for me rambling, I love this shoe. Hit the thumbs up if you like the video. Stay tuned to the channel. Subscribe if you're new. Check out some of the other videos coming very soon. I have a couple other vintage pairs that I'm going to show you. Super exciting. And as always, guys, you have a wonderful day.